Farmers continue to be on a war path as talks with the centre fail to yield any results. The next round of dialogue is expected to take place tomorrow. Farmers now have intensified their agitation. They've, in fact, several farmers blocked the Delhi-Noida border last evening, demanding a rollback of the 3 new farm laws. This in addition to 4 borders in North and West Delhi having been blocked off for the last few days. UP farmers have also joined the stir in the meeting with 35 farmer union leaders yesterday. The Modi government has made it clear that it won't go back on the farm laws. Instead, proposed forming a panel consisting of experts from the farming sector, that is the union experts, as well as government representatives, to mull these concerns of the farmers. The farmers raised their concerns, saying that the current laws are like a death warrant and will lead to private players actually snatching away their land.
The first real effort to defuse the farmer protest. The Narendra Modi government has opened dialogue with farmer groups. The mood ahead of the first round of talks on Tuesday was more of caution than relief. And as was feared, the talks didn't yield a breakthrough.
जो अंदर बातचीत हुई है उसमें से कुछ नहीं निकला है। एक तरह का जो 13 तारीख का तोमर साहब ने जो क्वेश्चन किए थे उनको ही रिपीट किया गया है। ज्यादा टाइम उन्हीं क्वेश्चनों पे लग गया है कि आप कमेटी बना लो 5 मेंबरी, इतने मेंबर से बातचीत करना मुश्किल है।
The Modi government, which advanced the talks by 2 days, has assured all the concerns will be addressed.
आज बहुत अच्छे वातावरण में चर्चा हुई और ये तय हुआ कि अब शेष चर्चा परसों होगी दोपहर में 12 बजे।
What has made the government's job tough is the presence of multiple organizations in the protests. 35 farmer unions have so far joined the government in talks. Sources tell India Today the government made a detailed presentation to the farmer representatives at the meeting. It assured them on MSP and APMC mandis. The centre suggested formation of a committee comprising members from the government, farmer unions and agricultural experts. Farmers, on the other hand, stood firm on the demand for a rollback of new laws, calling them a death warrant.
Leaders of 35 farm unions are leaving the Vigyan Bhavan, led by a Delhi police escort, after 3 hours of talks with the agriculture minister. They poured out their heart in the meetings with the government. They told the government that for decades they have been led down by indifferent government and gods. They are afraid that private sharks will take away their land and destroy their economy. The government has assured them that they will look into their demands and it wants one more meeting. In New Delhi, with Anil Jaiswal, Rahul Srivastav for India Today.
There's a lot of politics also playing out over these protests against the farm laws. Union Minister VK Singh's recent comment has stirred a massive controversy. He's claimed that many protesters in this agitation don't seem to be farmers, hinting towards a possible outsider angle as well. He said that opposition parties and those getting commission are behind the stir. VK Singh's remarks echoed the comments made by Congress MP Ravneet Singh Bittu and Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar, who claimed that several protesters were in fact Khalistanis. Political parties have in fact jumped into these farmers' protests, with JNU left-wing students and Chandrasekhar Azad's Bhim Army also joining the stir. Along with them, Shaheen Bagh activists also have come out in support of these protesting farmers.
जिनको कोई मतलब नहीं है, बहुत से लोग जब मैं फोटो देखता हूँ तो उसमें किसान दिखाई देते नहीं है, बहुत कम किसान दिखाई देते हैं। तो जो चीज़ किसानों के हित में है वो की गई है। स्वामीनाथन कमेटी के अंदर भी डिमांड थी, समय समय पर डिमांड होती रही कि किसान को स्वतंत्रता होनी चाहिए कि वो किसी से बंधा ना रहे। वो सरकार ने कर दी कि आप मंडी में बेचना चाहते हो बेचो, नहीं बेचना चाहते हो आप बाहर बेचो। अब उससे लोगों को तकलीफ हो रही है, किसान को नहीं होती, क्योंकि विपक्ष के साथ उन लोगों का हाथ है जो कमीशन।
As farmers continue to protest around the capital's borders, there is a fear that the agitation may actually be hijacked by other forces. After Haryana Chief Minister, you got Congress MP Ravneet Singh Bittu also alleging that some Khalistani elements have infiltrated the agitation by farmers. Not just that, you got activists from JNU, from Shaheen Bagh, all of whom have now joined in this particular protest.
खालिस्तानी कनेक्शन की बात सर इसमें सामने आ रही है, सभी कुछ अभी तक कोई इनपुट मिला है?
इनपुट ये है कि कुछ इस प्रकार के अनवांटेड एलिमेंट्स ये इस भीड़ के अंदर आए हुए हैं।
First, the BJP attacked them.
कहोगे तो ये और खालिस्तान की बात करते हैं, फिर मिनॉरिटी की ग्रुपों की बात करेंगे। अब आप नहीं कर सकते इनको, लेकिन जब ये पंजाब में जाएंगे वहाँ हम इनका ध्यान रखेंगे। खालिस्तानी कोई होगा तो सबसे पहले वो हमें गोली मारेगा।
Now the Congress is raising questions. The alleged presence of rogue elements has cast a shadow on the protests against the new farm laws.
यहाँ पे ये कुछ लोग हैं जो इनको किसान जथेबंदियां जल्दी से जल्दी कंट्रोल करें और भगाएं इनको यहाँ से। नहीं, पंजाब में जब ये जाएंगे, अब यहाँ जितनी देर ये बैठेंगे हम चाहते नहीं है अभी इस एजिटेशन को कोई चीज खराब करे, लेकिन पंजाब में जाके हम जरूर इनसे निपटेंगे। हम पहचानते नहीं इनको कौन है ये, लेकिन जब ये पंजाब में जाएंगे वहां हम इनका ध्यान रखेंगे। खालिस्तानी कोई होगा तो सबसे पहले वो हमें गोली मारेगा। हम लड़ने वाले हैं खालिस्तान के।
What has prompted the angry responses from the national parties are some questionable statements. The farmer protests, in fact, has become a political minefield. JNU left-wing students and Bhim Army too have jumped into the bandwagon.
देश की रीढ़ है और वो जो उनकी हकमारी हो रही है उसके खिलाफ लड़ रहे हैं। हमें सब लोगों को, देश के सब लोग के साथ खड़े होने चाहिए।
The entry of Shaheen Bagh activists into the scene has muddied the waters further.
हम भी किसान की बेटियां, किसान की बहुएं, हम जाएंगे वहाँ, उनके घर मिलने जाएंगे और आवाज भी उठाएंगे, सरकार हमारी बात सुने।
The farmer protests and the worsening war of words have presented a new reality. The fear is the protests may end up fueling further divisive politics. Bureau Report, India Today.
And shifting focus to some other stories we're tracking this morning, UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath set to meet a host of film personalities in Mumbai in what will be a big push for the proposed film city plan in his state. Subhash Ghai, Bonnie Kapoor, Rahul Mitra, Randeep Hooda and Jimmy Shergill are among the prominent film personalities the Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will be meeting today in order to attract investments in Uttar Pradesh. Yogi has already met actor Akshay Kumar after he arrived in Mumbai yesterday. In a tweet, the UP Chief Minister said that he held in-depth discussions with Akshay Kumar on various aspects of the film industry. NCP, meanwhile, has taken a swipe at the Chief Minister, saying that UP government's intent of setting up a film city is to undermine Mumbai.
कोई भी बाहर से आएगा तो महाराष्ट्र की संस्कृति ऐसी है कि उनका स्वागत ही होगा, लेकिन मैं देख रही हूँ कि केंद्र सरकार की कोशिश है कि मुंबई का महत्व इस देश में कम हो। शायद ये इनसिक्योर इसलिए ये कोशिश करते रहते हैं, लेकिन वो आ सकते हैं क्योंकि बॉलीवुड और मुंबई का एक बहुत पुराना प्यार का, विश्वास का रिश्ता है, उसको कोई ठेस नहीं पहुंचा पाए।
बॉलीवुड कोई उठाकर लेकर जाने के लिए वो कोई बॉल नहीं है, उठाया लेकर गए, वो स्टडी करने के लिए आए। इस प्रकार का इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर अपने राज्य में खड़ा कर सकते हैं क्या, वो देखेंगे। यदि वो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर अच्छा खड़ा कर सके तो लोग वहाँ अट्रैक्ट होंगे, लेकिन एक एडिशनल सुविधा निर्माण हो गया ऐसा मैं मानता हूँ। मुंबई के बॉलीवुड को, मुंबई के फिल्म इंडस्ट्री को कोई हाथ लगाएगा नहीं, लेकिन अच्छी सुविधा देने से कुछ फिल्म के शूटिंग वगैरह हो सकते हैं।
इस इंडस्ट्री का एक जिसे कभी ना दूर करने वाला एक हिस्सा है मुंबई, और मुंबई का एक बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा है हिंदी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री। ये दोनों एक दूसरे से अलग करना मैं सोच भी नहीं सकती, लेकिन ऑफ कोर्स उत्तर प्रदेश के सीएम योगी आदित्यनाथ जी का महाराष्ट्र में स्वागत है। हम उन्हें जय महाराष्ट्र कहेंगे अपने अंदाज में, और मैं उन्हें बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं दे सकती हूँ उनकी फिल्म।
Clinical trials of Sputnik 5, the first registered COVID-19 vaccine from Russia, has also begun in India. Dr. Reddy's Laboratories and the Russian Direct Investment Fund on Tuesday announced the start of adaptive phase 2 and phase 3 of clinical trials. Sputnik 5 in India after receiving necessary clearance from the Central Drugs Laboratory in Himachal Pradesh. The Indian drug maker said that this will be a multi-center and also randomized control study, which will include safety as well as immunogenicity study. As per the RDIF, the Sputnik 5 vaccine showed 91.4% efficacy. This is on day 28 after the first dose, and over 95% efficacy 42 days after the first dose. Earlier, RDIF and Hetero, one of India's leading generic pharmaceutical companies, agreed to produce 100 million doses of this vaccine. Keep our fingers crossed. It's raining good news on the vaccine front. On Monday, Moderna filed a request for the emergency use of its vaccine candidate after a successful late-stage trial. Back home, Covaxin's phase have begun as well. This is phase 3 of the clinical trials of Covaxin.
Hope of a preventive cure for coronavirus have increased further. US pharma company Moderna claims its coronavirus vaccine has achieved 94.1% efficacy in late-stage trials. More significantly, it has achieved 100% success in preventing severe COVID-19 cases. The firm has now applied with the US FDA and the European Medicines Agency for emergency use. Moderna says 30,000 volunteers were a part of the trial. 15,000 participants got the vaccine while the rest got placebos. Of those who took the vaccine, the company says only 11 got COVID, but none of them were serious in nature. None of the volunteers suffered any serious side effects. Moderna is the second firm to file for emergency use after Pfizer and BioNTech.
If we can prevent severe cases, it means reduced or no hospitalization and no death, and that will be, of course, I believe, a game changer in this pandemic.
Back in India, the phase 3 trials of Covaxin is underway at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. The vaccine is being developed by Bharat Biotech in collaboration with the Indian Council of Medical Research. Bureau Report, India Today.
Moving on to some other stories. China's People Liberation Army seems adamant to continue with the present standoff in eastern Ladakh beyond the winters or even much longer, possibly to tire out India. Satellite images suggest that Beijing has continued the same stance all along the Tibet-India border. The latest satellite images that we've accessed clearly indicate that China has yet again stabbed the international community in the back, particularly Bhutan, by grabbing further land along the Amochu River.
Chinese aggression continues not just in eastern Ladakh, but as latest satellite images indicate, even in Bhutan. Latest images accessed exclusively by India Today show that the Chinese have grabbed land near the Amochu River inside Bhutan.
China has surreptitiously constructed a 12 kilometers road inside Bhutanese territory along the Amochu River on the river slope of the Doklam Plateau, thus effectively crossing the Indian red lines that were laid down somewhere in 2017 and clarified to the Chinese.
India Today's OSINT team investigated the progress of PLA incursions in Bhutan that have a direct impact on India's strategic interests in the area known as the Siliguri Corridor or Chicken's Neck. Latest satellite images provided by Maxar Technologies show that China has built a bridge across the Amochu River. The bridge is about 45 meters long and 6 meters wide.
In fact, China has been practicing the strategy of expansionism, and this time he is attempting this with a tiny state like Bhutan. India wants that Bhutan should settle China border issue so that it can further define the transaction between the three nations in Doklam area.
The satellite images show that China is laying claim to large river tracts in the Yatung Valley. The high-resolution image of October 28, 2020 shows a Chinese road being surreptitiously constructed almost 12 kilometers beyond the Tibet-Bhutan border.
This construction is not restricted to areas around Doklam, but similar model integrated villages have come up in places opposite Arunachal Pradesh and Sikkim across the line of actual control. These are nothing but an extension of military cantonments to make sure China has enhanced military infrastructure close to the border areas. With Ankit Kumar and camera person Ajay Kumar, Abhishek Bhalla in New Delhi for India Today.
The Indian team will look to avoid a clean sweep as they take on Australia in the third ODI. Action now shifts to Manuka Oval. The hosts lead the three-match series 2-0, but will be without David Warner as well as Pat Cummins.
Right, it's got the edge this time. Pat Cummins picks up the wicket.
In a matter of just 3 days, the bubble, not the biosecure one, has burst.
Has to be out. Was given.
In a matter of 3 days, India have surrendered an ODI series to Australia.
Another comprehensive victory for Australia. They have won this one ODI series.
The perennial problems haven't subsided and new issues have cropped up.
Bowling change, and Navdeep Saini has been welcomed with a boundary, in fact the maximum.
For the second time in as many matches, India allowed Aussies off to a start from where there was no coming back. In the last 5 ODIs, India haven't been able to make early inroads.
Finch getting in on the act now as well.
The last series that India played against New Zealand, the best they could do to break an opening stand was in Hamilton, where the first wicket came at the score of 85. Aussie openers added 156 in the first game, and in the next, there was another century stand.
Yeah, that's right. Completely outplayed. I think with the ball, we were not that effective. We just didn't hit the areas that we wanted to consistently, and then they've got a pretty strong batting lineup. They understand these conditions and the pitches and the angles of the fields very well. But yeah, look, we had to bowl in one area for long enough, and we didn't. And
welcome.
The inability to get breakthroughs in the power play has allowed oppositions to score big against India. Not just the pacers, spinners have become another headache.
Oh, he's got hold of that. He's got hold of that. Enough, well enough into the seats there with the spectators for 6.
Not only are they leaking runs, but they aren't picking wickets either.
As a bowler has what to do. Look at that. You run down the track, you don't know whether he's going to hit you straight or square.
In the last 2 ODIs, Chahal and Jadeja have bowled 39 overs between them that have cost India 283 runs for just 1 wicket. India's record in the ODIs this year isn't too great, and they have now lost 5 matches and 2 series on the trot.
And here's another one, so it just poised.
Sports Bureau, India Today.
Oh, looks good. What a shot. So quick.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.